Growing up, I never really understood why my mom didn't want to go to places alone. Before doctor's appointments, she'd always ask me how to say certain things, and before sending important emails, she'd always ask me to check for errors. But I always felt my mom's English was more than adequate to do these things, so I could never wrap my mind around why she didn't feel confident enough to do these tasks alone. But now, 3 months in, I'm starting to understand after experiencing something I've never felt before: culture shock. In the weeks leading up to Fulbright, there were a bunch of informational orientation videos warning us about culture shock and how to deal with it. But to be honest, I always thought I wouldn't experience this sort of cultural struggle. I always prided myself on my independence, my ability to get around and accomplish things without any help. I'd been to plenty of foreign countries before and always figured out how to leap the language barrier with little problems. And at first, it really seemed like Taiwan would be the same case. Sure, jiayi was tougher than the big metropolitan cities I'd usually go to, but with the help of my friends and Google Translate, I would always manage to get the point across. But now that the glamour of living abroad has faded and this seemingly temporary situation has become my daily reality, I started to struggle a lot more with culture shock. I grew tired and embarrassed of asking for help all the time, especially because my self-sufficiency was so central to my identity. I would sit in silent envy and shame as the fluent Mandarin speakers in my cohort retold stories of new local friends they made and the fun classes they'd signed up for, both of which I was too afraid to venture out and do alone, in fear of a failed culture shock encounter that would leave me feeling stupid. Whereas old Christine would have probably shrugged and pulled up Google Translate, this new culture shocked Christine would often not even be able to attempt to order her favorite bubble tea if the owner didn't speak English. Having placed so much worth on my ability to do things, being able to do so little was a big blow on my self-esteem and pride. But it's also helped me build my empathy and understand my parents a lot more. I never really understood why people struggled so much abroad, just like how I never understood my mother, but I'm starting to understand now. And now that I'm more cognizant of my tendency to give up rather than try because I'm scared of feeling stupid, I'm trying to force myself to get out of my comfort zone more. Recently, I signed myself up for a kickboxing class, which I've never really done, and I literally just showed up by myself to the gym and asked the instructor if he could teach me because I knew if I tried to go through the online sign-up process, I would just give up because it was too much Chinese. I'm also trying to travel more and see places outside of jiayi that I'm not as accustomed to. Okay, we are at the Taiwan food, tea, coffee, something expo.
We got a fortune, but we can't read it.
According to Google Translate, it says people must improve themselves to grow. Not bad. Dried dragon fruit.
Japan. 哪里？
韩国。
哦，不一样。哎，有那个韩国人的味道。香港。
He said you look young and pretty.
Oh, 谢谢。Strawberry chocolate.
So good.
Whoa, there's jam inside. That's so good. It tastes so fresh. The Fulbright Thanksgiving Conference was our second conference of the year, and the first conference where all Fulbright grantees, ETFs, ETAs, and EMIs alike all attended. It was much shorter than the first conference, but I honestly enjoyed it a lot more. The focus of the speakers and workshops was much more cultural, and there was also this really cool dance performance. And best of all, of course, was the amazing Thanksgiving dinner we had at the hotel. It started with this almost like super weirdly ceremonial turkey cutting that apparently happens every year. And afterwards, it was really funny to see how everyone, myself included, was just fiending to get some American food after being away from home for so long. One thing I especially love about these conferences is that we always get to stay in these really nice hotels, and I just gain so much weight every time from eating at all these buffets. Since conferences are all held in Taipei or New Taipei, it's always a great opportunity to explore the northern part of Taiwan more. This time around, I went to Jiufen, a magical little town in New Taipei that's reminiscent of the town in Spirited Away. The main attraction is its Old Street, a winding narrow pathway filled with vendors selling snacks and souvenirs.
It's kind of glutinous. The ice cream itself. That's pretty good.
Ame Tea House, a repurposed blacksmith shop, is the most reminiscent of the Spirited Away bathhouse, particularly at night. Here we got a tea set, which was supposed to be poured in like a really specific way, but honestly we gave up figuring out how, and it did taste good either way. Afterwards, we found this quaint little cafe where we wrote letters to our future selves. I left just as the sun was setting and the lamps were turning on, but I know I will come back here for sure.